and welcome to Alexander's Greek Kitchen. Today we're going to make spanakopita. Spanako, which is spinach, pita, which is pie. So we're going to put these wonderful ingredients together, which is spinach, feta cheese, a couple eggs, some green onion, garlic, fresh garlic, and fresh cilantro, but if you don't have cilantro you can use parsley or any of your greens. Black crushed pepper, oregano, a little bit of dill, and some sea salt, and of course some olive. So the first thing I want to do is I want to blanch my spinach. So I have a pot boiling water, and what I do is I take a bunch of spinach and I drop it in the hot water and I blanch it. It only takes a couple of minutes to blanch the spinach. Then once it's, like no time at all, you pull it out because you don't want it to be too cooked, but you just want it blanched enough so that it pares down a little bit so that you can work with it and use it. Once you get your spinach all blanched, which I've done in a bowl over here, you let it strain. Why? It's because you don't want too much water in your pan with the filo, because then it comes a little bit too soupy. So when you get your spinach out, you make sure that you dump all that excess water. See? A lot of water. And then you sift the spinach a little bit and let it sit and cool. So we're going to put the spinach over here and let it cool. And then what I'm going to do is start preparing my filo and my pie. First thing you do is you pour a little butter in the pan, because you're like basting the pan so that it doesn't stick to the bottom, and you get it generously all over the sides. This wonderful pie will serve up to 10 people, or 6 times. Once I get my initial butter in, I start laying my wonderful filo dough. Filo you can buy at the store, and what they do is it's hard to work with, so you got to take your time and take each sheet. It's a very thin layer of pastry dough, and what I do is I lay it in here and lay a little bit over the sides so that I can have a wrapping, so I can wrap it up at the end. Every time you put 2 sheets of filo, you put a little bit of butter in here. You baste it with butter. And you keep doing that until you have your bottom layers of filo. I usually put be generous with the butter. I have about a stick and a quarter of a stick in, which I've melted. So now that I've made sort of kind of like the bed for the spanakopita, have a little bit of Greek radio playing in the background, soft Greek, easy listening music, and I was about ready to get my ouzo out and have a glass of that. I'm going to put one more in the center for my bottom, butter it, and now I am going to definitely put together the ingredients that's going to go inside this wonderful pie. We leave that on the side. You take a big bowl, you take that wonderful spinach that you had, you drop it in the bowl, you loosen it up a little bit, and you use a big spoon. You take your feta cheese, you pour that in. You take and crack 2 eggs. 1. 2. You take your Greek scallions, throw them in. You take your fresh garlic with cilantro, or as I said, parsley, whatever you have, and you throw that in. I take a little ground pepper. This is fresh ground pepper that I grind myself, and I like it coarse. Oregano from the Greek mountains that my mom sends me from Hunayki, and it's absolutely the best oregano in the world. It just smells fabulous. A little bit of dill weed, dried, gives that wonderful flavor. Some sea salt. And just a little bit of olive oil for that flavor too. And you take and you start mixing your ingredients, folding it very lightly. If you can see what I'm doing, I'm taking and folding the spinach with the feta and the egg. The egg is in order for it to just give it a tie-in together consistency. You're never going to taste it. It's just more of a bonding agent. And once you get your spinach mixed up with your feta, oh my God, the smells are incredible right now. It's just bending my nose. So you have this, and guess where it's going to go? You just pour it into your pie mixture right here. Oh, yum, yum, yum. I'm telling you, there is nothing better than fresh spinach pie. And then I get all my spices and wonder in here, wonder and splendor. I form it down a little bit, spread it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Look at that. Oh. So, now I'm going to proceed to cover this. So you need your half sheets of filo, and you put them inside like this. Next one. And you use up the rest of all your filo, making layer upon layer. One more. And don't forget, what do we say we do after each thing? You butter it. A little butter. It's absolutely wonderful. And then what I do is I fold the ends in. I'm not done putting filo on top. I'm just done getting the, and it's kind of wrapping everything all and keeping everything all together. Once I turn those over, I butter the top of this so it stays nice and moist. And then I will proceed to put the rest of the filo in sheets that are folded in half over the top, layer over layer over layer, so it makes a nice crust on top, buttering. And when I get done with that, I'll show you what it looks like before it goes in the oven. So, we got our wonderful pieces of filo all over the top of this. I'm putting the final butter. As you can see, I've used almost all my butter up. I had my little assistant, Shantae, here, so that she will learn how to make spanakopita. I take a knife and I kind of score the top a little bit in little sections so it provides like little pieces. And it bakes up and it puffs up so that you have some kind of a idea on how big your pieces are going to be. And 3, 6, 9, 12 pieces of wonderful. A little added touch at the end is you take and you sprinkle a little bit of dill weed on top. It just gives it color, character, and taste. Not overbearing, just a little bit. No other spice but a little bit of dill weed. It's just that little green that looks pretty and flaky and wonderful. Here it is, folks. In the oven it goes. We're going to come over here. The oven's sitting at 375. I'm going to put it in there for 1 hour. And when it turns totally golden brown on top, you You know it's ready, you take it out and you let it set a little bit, and then you cut into it, and it's just this flaky, buttery, wonderful spinach feta cheese pie. So we just pulled this out of the oven. It's absolutely wonderful. It's a gorgeous pie. It's spanakopita. And what we're going to do now is dissect and serve. As I don't know if you can hear that, but the crust on this is very flaky and very, very well done. The first piece is always the hardest to get out, but we're going to try to do it in one fair swoop without any problems. There it is. Oh my God. And, of course, the chef has to make sure it's not poison. Out of this world. So, from Alexander's Greek Kitchen, we wish you oreksi and Spinach.